Yo guys, I've got a spark which I'm gonna use to ignite the fire for a brand new Skylanders video in the channel. This is not only the 7th day of Skylands, but it's also the last video I'll be making in the year of 2022. So what better way is there to bring the year to a close than with a celebration of my favourite gaming character of all time, Ignitor. Naturally, this means that for today's video, we're going to be counting down the top 10 reasons why Ignitor is awesome. Without further ado, let's roll that intro and get straight into the top 10 countdown. For the 10th most reason why Ignitor is awesome, it's because he was in a starter pack, something very few characters can boast about, and something even fewer characters can boast about being the poster child for. Ignitor's artwork is plastered all over the 3DS starter pack for Skylanders Spyro's Adventure, and that's because the developers knew that players would find him so incredibly awesome that the image of him alone would be enough to sell you on the game. They were right, of course. Ignitor was exclusive to this starter pack for a couple of months even, and this was obviously during the start of Spyro's Adventure, where people were buying this entire starter pack just for Ignitor alone because he looked so cool and everyone wanted to play as him, and I couldn't blame them. The developers knew how awesome Ignitor is, hence why they used him for the 3DS starter pack in the first place. For the 9th reason why Ignitor is awesome is because his artwork is sick. It possesses intricate details and presents him as someone who's heroic and powerful through his technique. The swing of his weapon seems so natural, and how the fire flows looks badass and even realistic. So between the detail and the presentation of this artwork, it really does present Ignitor as a noble warrior that enemies should quiver in fear at the very sight of. For the 8th most reason why Ignitor is awesome, it's because his design is not only creative and detailed, but unique as well. There are very few Skylanders who don't have a face, yet Ignitor, from his enchanted suit of armor alone, is still able to display such a noble and a heroic personality. It makes him stand out from other Skylanders because there is no other designs featured that look remotely similar to his. The design was so awesome, in fact, that they had to reuse similar ideas for Blast Zone, knowing that this was an easy way to deliver yet another awesome Skylander design. And the Series 2 pose upgrades upon his basic look with a turtle shell armor piece that has small increments to add to the detail in every nook and cranny of this design. The blue and the silver contrast to give the armor a realistic look, and it really does shine to help the figurine stand out even more on the shelf because you admire how the colours truly pop thanks to this contrast. For the 7th most reason why Ignitor is awesome is because his design is elevated even further by his legendary form. Firstly, Ignitor is the only fire Skylander to have ever received a legendary form. The developers knew that they peaked with this legendary and didn't want to tarnish its legacy with a follow-up legendary Skylander of the fire element that was just pale by comparison. This design fits the legendary colour scheme perfectly. The gold and black for his armor set looks magnificent and gives the armor an even more realistic feel than before, as you could just as easily get gold and black armor as you could blue and silver, or at least that's the impression you get from this figurine's prestigious look. Intricate details are maintained, but now with an even stronger colour contrast. Gold is a colour established with elitism, and it gives Ignitor a very prestigious look indeed. Given that they reserve this legendary honour for only the very best Skylanders, helps prove that Ignitor is the best of the best, as no other legendary comes close to looking as good as Ignitor does in this colour scheme. The 6th reason why Ignitor is awesome is because he became the sole survivor of my Giants legendary lock. Nightmare mode on Skylanders Giants is no joke. The damage output of these enemies is brutal, but Ignitor bested them all at every turn. No other legendaries were capable of dealing with this sheer amount of difficulty, but Ignitor persevered. This proves how ridiculously overpowered he is. He turned Nightmare mode into a joke. In fact, you could even go as far to say that Nightmare mode can't hold a candle to Ignitor's raw awesomeness. For the fifth most reason why Ignitor is awesome, it's because of his backstory and personality. Ignitor started as a knight called Ignatius, and on his quest to slay a fire dragon, he was tricked into wearing an enchanted suit of armor by an evil witch. When the fire dragon breathed upon him, he binded him with the suit eternally and became a fire spirit trapped within the enchanted metal. That is a seriously tragic backstory. Immediately you sympathize with Ignitor, but rather than use this loss as a reason to hurt others and make them suffer the same pain he has, instead he uses his new abilities to nobly strike down evil with strength and skill in an honourable manner, mind you. This personality is perfect for those aspiring to be the best with the tools that they have. That inspirational message behind Ignitor is easily one of the things that makes him so awesome. Let's not forget about the potential to expand upon this story as well. It would be a defining moment for Ignitor's character to have him choose between exacting revenge against that witch or saving innocents in trouble. That could be untapped potential, and it's a shame we didn't see such things in Skarner's Academy, but we've been given the clues for Ignitor's actions and personalities to know that without a doubt, he would save the innocents, even if it meant sacrificing something he wants, like revenge against this witch, because Ignitor is one to put the needs of others before the needs of his own. For the fourth most reason why Ignitor is awesome, it's because his backstory, personality and design are derived from medieval folklore. This is a time period I massively admire. They were in one way simpler times, in others not so much. They were brutal times for sure, but they've given us such fantastic stories throughout the years. For Ignitor to take from the best of these iconic stories we've been telling for hundreds upon hundreds of years shows how his character is unique, thought through and creative. They spared no liberties in ensuring that Ignitor took from the very best parts of a time period I deeply find interesting on a personal scale, which in turn makes Ignitor all the more interesting to me. For the third most reason why Ignitor is awesome, is because he has the best damn one-liners in the entire franchise. They're a perfect execution of his personality, which I deeply admire. The tone and delivery of these lines is incredibly badass, so Ignitor can sound powerful and confident without sounding arrogant or disrespectful. I massively admire the voice actor Dwight Schultz for breathing such life into this character through his voice work alone. I particularly love one-liners like "I ignite to fight." It's influential and uplifting, which is where the spirit of my channel comes from. "Thou hast been vanquished" ties back to its medieval roots, or Ignitor's medieval roots I should say, as this is a medieval tongue, the sort of things knights would say in victory. "It's a bad day to be my foe" would distill fear in an enemy and really hype you up to play as the character. It's kind of like a hype man for a DJ. Those are just a few examples of the incredible one-liners this character has. Each one is so good that it really rewards you for playing as this character, and you're left wanting to play as Ignitor even more simply because you want to hear more of those incredible and unique one-liners. The second most reason why Ignitor is awesome is because his moveset is absurdly virtuous. I'm using fancy vocabulary since Ignitor didn't shy away from fancy vocabulary for his one-liners either, as we've talked about already. So now, to put it easily, the most important factor into a Skarner's quality is the gameplay. Everything about Ignitor we've talked about so far would be irrelevant if his gameplay was terrible. Luckily for Ignitor, quite the contrary is true. The character rewards strategy and fast-paced reaction times. If you use your Flame Spirit, you can create a trail of blue fire which leaves the enemy engulfed in flames. Whilst they try to reach you, this secondary attack is hunting them down and finish them off before they even get close. The sword attacks are well animated and deal absurd damage. Few characters stack damage this quickly. It's also a momentum based moveset, so if you move whilst attacking enemies, the hitbox functions in a way that swings beside you, so you can easily attack something beside you whilst also dodging out of the way of incoming enemy attacks. The slam can be held. You charge it, then go running into combat and inflict immediate massive damage upon which most enemies cannot survive. You keep moving and you can charge this up even longer, so you can unleash it when enemies are at their most vulnerable state. Having missed you with their attack, then you finish them off. That's exactly what I would define as vulnerable, mind you, and Ignitor doesn't quite miss so easily. With the wow power, you deal more than the initial damage as you leave enemies trapped within your blue flame, which just looks awesome in and of itself. Blue fire is more dangerous as it burns hotter than red fire. So with this added layer to the combat, you truly feel the sense of power behind this guy's outstanding moveset, which plays unique to him. No other Skada comes remotely close to how this character plays, and I can't ever get enough. Each combat scenario can be tackled differently, but ultimately each move flows into one another perfectly, leading to this character becoming fast-paced and fun, as well as an extremely powerful unit to be used in combat. But for number one, we have the only reason that has ever mattered when it comes to picking our favourite characters, and that is pure, unadulterated bias. It doesn't matter how good every other character is. It doesn't matter if those characters are, by every definition, objectively better. For one reason or another, when picking favourites, bias factors above all else. And in this case, all of Ignitor's unique elements which culminate into this one magnificent character give me reason to feel this personal bias towards him. Bias is a personal thing, and that's simply because he is a perfect character for me on an individual scale, and that is simply why I love him as much as I do. He's my favourite Skada, it's simple as that, really. Now, if that having been said and done, this video is coming to an end. Thank you for watching this love letter to the greatest Skada ever made. I couldn't find a better way to close off the year, so I'll see you in 2023, and thanks for the amazing support this past year. I've been humbled by your unparalleled love and support every single day, and I can't begin to thank you. It's truly beyond words, this appreciation I have for each and every one of you. But enough of all of this soppy stuff, let's move on to the outro already. I cannot, in good conscience, end off this video without first thanking all of my incredible channel members whose continued support help make these videos possible. Without them, these videos would be near impossible to make, so from the bottom of my heart, I truly appreciate every last one of them. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, there are plenty of options on screen now to explore, and please consider subscribing to keep up to date with all my content. On that note, this video is coming to an end, so thank you so much as always for watching. Until the next video arises, peace!